You stand for to the flag, followed by a moment of silence for our departed members, please. I.
One nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, Dave Caldor.
Here.
I'm Devaney. Here. Frank DeVolk, yeah, I'm here. Chuck Mackey. Present. Chris Harry. Here. Jim Jamian.
Present.
Barry Rigney.
Here.
Robin Trott.
Here.
Tom Durfee.
Here.
Donald Hudson.
Present.
Ed Waldman.
Here.
Neil Velasco. Here. Nina Williams. Here for Andy Simone. Rob Pinio.
Here.
Mark Schwartz.
Here.
Bob McAvoy.
Present.
Kevin O'Hara.
Here.
And Scott Kittlebrand is excused. Keith Walken is excused. Frank Chester. Frank, you coming?
No.
You're here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Karen Bone, we know if she's gonna make it tonight? Late, okay. Dr. Barrios. Dana Ridley. Olena Nix. Dr. Gelman.
Okay, good. And I need approval, a motion to approve the meeting, the minutes from the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Second. All right, New York State EMS investigation disciplinary actions. Henry Loriano, 538468. Violations of part 800.15 A and 3 and part 816 A and 1. Surrendered certification effective October 24th, 2025. Rafael Quinones Rodriguez, EMT number 511258. Violations of 10 right CRR part 800.15 A and 3, 800.16 A2, and 800.16 A and 3. Certification surrendered effective October 8th, 2025. Wayne Allen, EMT number 377943. Violations of 800.3 AK. Certification revoked effective 9/26/2025. Okay, well, the report's my report. Please, people are still sending correspondence to other emails. Any correspondence for REMSCO, please send it to nassauems.org. So it comes to one central area. The new AHA changes have been posted. Please, if you're an active provider, you don't have to be an instructor. If you're an active provider, please go through the changes. There's not a lot of crazy stuff that was changed, but there are some things that change the way we do things. Some things that we don't do very often, like delivering a baby. The recommendation is to hold off clamping the umbilical cord. So please, it's not that bad. It's 24 pages. It moves kind of quickly. You want to talk about the part 800 on your report? Or you want to go?
I can do that.
Okay.
So, through the public comment period, the equipment regulations, Part 800 for ambulances in New York State, has been posted to the New York State Register. So they now have a phase-in, period to where they take full effect. So those are in the EMS coordinators report. The state's in the process of changing and updating their forms for vehicle inspections and full service inspections. Some stuff has become mandatory, such as glucometers and whatnot, so look through that. If you have any questions or concerns, by all means, reach out. But that will kick in, I believe it's 6 months after, so we're probably a month into that,
Right.
so by summer.
Okay, any questions, myself? All right, Vice Chair Tom Devaney.
No report.
Secretary, no report, no report.
Oh, excuse me, there is. The CPA finished our tax return. So if anybody wants to peruse it, everything was in order.
Yeah, any questions for Secretary Treasurer? SEMSCO EMS Coordinator Don Hudson.
So the next state meeting is the first week of December up in Troy, New York. On that agenda is some open items and, next, like the Part 800 equipment regulations, there'll be talk of, coming collaborative protocol changes and also Part 800 vehicle construction standards. So those are nowhere near kicking in. The public comment period and all of that, has to still run its course, but just to get it on everyone's, radar.
Quick question on that, if the cameras, is that part of,
Those should be vehicle construction standards,
okay,
not equipment standards.
so something in the register that's. No question on that.
Yeah,
Because I think the tail end of. It might be on the new construction, I think.
yeah, let me take a look while you come back to me.
Any other questions to EMS Coordinator, SEMSCO? All right, standing committees, REMAC, Dr. Kubler.
Just a couple of things were brought up under new business. The first was nominations are up for the next slate for the 2026-2027 term. The slate is going to read Dr. David Newbert for chairman, Dr. David Kugler for vice chairman, Dr. David Silver for secretary. So if your name's not David, you can't run for office apparently on the REMAC. So bringing that to you guys for your information. The REMSCO also renominated me, David Kugler, as the rep to CMAC. I believe the letter needs to be, a letter of support needs to come from here to the state when they ask for it. So we're asking for that. It's also approved 3 additional Dr. Connor Murphy, Dr. Dimitri Alexis, and Dr. David Langley were approved to do field response medical control for the Northwell service. There's some new business under airway that Dr. Newbert will talk about under airway. There was I'll talk about eBridge while I have the floor. eBridge usage continues to go up. We're using it more and more, where it's not just the volunteer agencies, it's not just the paid agencies, it's all the commercial agencies are using it as well. We're capturing approximately 1/3 to about 45% of all transports, which is great. There's still about 1,000 transports a month that are using the old-fashioned way of either telephone or radio. We're gonna have to try and convert those over when we can. But the usage is it's greatly appreciated by the hospitals. They enjoy receiving all the notifications, and when they receive data like a STEMI note with an attached EKG that shows a STEMI, I know at my facility, when we get that, we activate the cath lab. We'll contact the cath attending before you guys arrive. And this way, as soon as we get the patient registered, they're going upstairs. So it saves time, it's good for the patient, good for patient care. So keep up the great work and thank you. There's one other thing with regards to E-Bridge, the airway form. Anytime you put an advanced airway in, whether it's a supraglottic airway or an endotracheal tube, the advanced airway form has to be used. It was shortened to make it user-friendly and also be compliant with the request made by the Airway Committee. Any questions for REMAC?
Okay, thank you. Communications. Okay, disaster planning, Kevin O'Hara.
Progress. I plan hopefully we'll have resolution now that the cricket is over, the golf tournament. To either have a program put on the state learning platform, the LMS system, or if not, we're gonna go alternate route on the REMSCO website. Do a Google thing or some audio program, so hopefully next meeting we'll have that pretty much completed. And we just have one more training module to complete.
Any questions on disaster planning? Education and training, Ed Waldron.
No report.
Legal and governmental affairs, Frank DeBogus.
Yes, I was speaking with Don Hudson, and we're just waiting for the final REMSCO bylaws, and we're going to make ours work around it, so we're not reinventing the wheel or going against what they have.
Any questions on legal and governmental? Public education, Mark Frappia.
A report at this time.
Okay. Just as a side, I was gonna do it under good and welfare. Frank Chester's in the hospital. Please keep him in your prayers. Systems, Chris Eric.
Okay, the committee met, we had 3 requests for 911 ambulance response matrix changes that we looked at. One of them was for, Inwood to move from the number 2 position to the primary position. One of them was for Meadowmere Park to be removed from the matrix from, I think they were 4th or 5th, citing lack of volunteer membership, low call volume. And the third was a request from the Woodmere Fire District to move from the 3rd position to the 2nd position. We looked at all those individually. We're going to be forwarding to the council as a seconded motion, a recommendation to approve the matrix changes for Meadowmere Park and Inwood. There's progress on Woodmere, but we're going to withhold making a recommendation pending a further dialogue with the Woodmere Fire District. So we have outgoing communications to them, and we're just looking forward to hear back from them and discuss.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for systems? Membership, Robin Trott.
Yeah, I received an update actually as of today on the renewal of expiring constituencies. Out of the 14 constituencies whose seats are expiring, we're waiting on 2 to complete the renewal, and they've said that they are submitting their paperwork, so there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Questions to membership?
Which 2 constituencies?
They're the 2, the VEX, the District 12, who have been told that they didn't send in their paperwork, and they'll be doing that probably within a week. And the other is Anthony Carpenter, the VAC, and been told that they too will be submitting the paperwork. I don't see the problem.
Other questions to membership? Hospital Emergency Department, Dana Fortapasso.
She said no report, I just texted her.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Special committees, Airway, Dr. Newberg.
Hi, everybody. Just a few quick things from Airway. We added 4 new providers to the list, approved by the committee. Hicksville wants to become an RSI agency. We're working with them, and that will be further processed at our next Airway committee meeting. Their medical director is Dr. Zito, and he engaged us and is going to come to our next meeting and chat about that. So we'll probably have them on board soon. We've been doing some work with looking at the data that we're getting from the Airway forms. It appears just in a blush of it that our first pass success on all airways is somewhere around 90%, which is a good number, but then that spurred a second conversation that it's possible that people that are not getting the airways in the first thing may not be self-reporting as much, so we're gonna work with Data Corte Paso when we can about getting data from the hospitals, so that way we're checking the data on both sides, because we want to make sure that we're presenting that properly to everybody. And then also that'll help us get additional information so we could do more educational opportunities with everybody. So the idea of knowing those numbers is to better our education and make sure we're giving the right recommendations from the committee. We're also just changing some of the ways we're doing things to make it simpler, like Dr. Kugler mentioned, we're gonna simplify the airway form because we kind of agreed it was a little bit, there was a lot of data there we didn't need, so given that we're reviewing the data now, and actually it's kind of a joint project with Suffolk County's data, we'll know what data points are important, and then we're gonna clear it out so it's not as complicated. We'll also change the way that we are engaging the medical directors. So if we get a question about an airway, we're making sure now that we'll engage that agency's medical director within 24 hours and make sure that the any referrals going for QA, we're working directly with the agency medical directors. So basically the whole plan, the whole time has been engage the medical directors and the providers to make sure that we're all working together, and we're just gonna stay with that, and that's been working really well for us. Just so everyone knows, in Suffolk County, they have a very large RSI system, like we modeled a lot of what we did on theirs, but they have like 40+ agencies now. And at their last meeting, they decentralized a number of the things that they're doing because it got too big. Our process is working for us here, and it's bringing engagement, and it's improving communication. So we're going to continue doing it the way we've been doing it. It's working well for us, and it's really been a good thing for the good of the order of the of our region. So we're going to continue with the current process and engaging people, and with Dr. Zito coming with Hicksville and hopefully some more agencies reaching out to us, we'll continue that. So other than that, that's all I got.
Any questions to Dr. Newberg on airway? We already did eBridge. Dr. Newberg, REMSCO REMAC EMS dead.
Nothing to report.
Okay. You know if Dr. Silver's gonna make it?
Dr. Silver can't make it, but
Okay.
basically QA/QI, he just wanted me to tell everyone that they have a couple cases they're working on, and they're engaging people really well. And they're doing some work with the stroke coordinators to continue working on that project.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, old business. First, last meeting, we authorized the REMSCO to buy a new computer. We purchased one from Micro Center. We allotted up to $3,000. We got one for $1,086.29. We'll give this over to second, old business. There was a question about the REMSCO meeting times. So there was a survey done of the seated REMSCO members. There were 34 responses. There was 16 for splitting it 3 meetings at 1,400, 3 meetings at 1,900. And there were 18 to keep it as it is. So that carries, we're gonna keep it the way it is. Okay. An update on the communication with the
Sorry, can you
private,
read the numbers again? I just, that, sorry.
16 to split it, 18 to keep it as it is.
What about the whole survey?
Even the whole survey.
There was, that's the total, or is that of the REMSCO members, or?
That's the REMSCO members.
So what about the entire public that we're trying to engage here also?
We need to,
Providers,
but if we don't have enough REMSCO members coming to the meetings, then we won't have forums.
so we're nearly 50-50, 16 to 18 votes,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
We're nearly 50-50. So what was the broader part of the survey? We have those results,
I do not.
we got them?
I'm sure we can.
Question for you on that.
Yes,
So I believe we have a table motion that we have to act on, or did we act on that already?
We didn't act on it. We're waiting for these results, which we only got a portion of that was sent out after the original. So the
So,
broader question was to get more engagement from the EMS and hospital and, community in the audience. And
right.
so that survey would make sense to,
I have the published.
we have the
survey.
data, I guess, right? Right, Don? We have the data from that survey?
No.
I have the published survey results that are in the meeting minutes that are on the website from the June 11th meeting.
Okay,
And that was 93 people, 44% wanted the meetings to be at 7 or 8 PM. 30% said to keep it at 2, and 25% said they had no preference, and that was published.
And, okay,
And I believe at the last meeting, you said you were gonna come back with a schedule for mixing up the times.
do we,
Right, we sent out.
we're
broad
gonna
survey.
do the survey again.
Right, so there was, right, we had to redo the survey that we already had, and then we
Right.
sent it out broadly, and I guess whatever those numbers we're waiting on, and then we narrowed it down to just the REMSCO members, to 16 to 18, and that's
Right.
what we're basing it all on?
Yes,
Oh. Well, maybe we could see what the other numbers are and then go back to that motion.
okay.
We can circle back to it if it's not readily available, if you wanna keep it.
Waiting on- Yeah, I was reading the party hundred. Can you? Do we read the party hundred? No, do we have the, do we have the, they wanna hear the survey from everybody. You know what, let's give them a second to
Yeah, we
look
can
for
go
that.
back.
Right, going back to old business, email was sent to, the Pride Program Agency. And I have not heard anything back from them. Okay. You know what, we'll move on to new business. I'm sorry.
Continue on with old business. Didn't come up under committees, because once again, we don't technically have a committee.
Oh, I apologize. You're right.
Regarding, as most of you know, 2 years ago, I sent a letter looking to establish an EMS memorial here in Eisenhower Park. It was sent back in March of 2023, through a constituency, in the legislature that, took it to, the county, and the legislature got an approval and stuff for a site. We were working with and meeting, and discussing with the fire commission and stuff on the possibility of creating a first responder as they're in the process of looking to, redo, the current firefighters memorial over there. After some discussions and stuff, with the fire commission and others, they decided to go on their own and recreate their own memorial for the fire service. So a few months back, once again, I started looking at it. We had a meeting and stuff with H2M. Pat Stone has been working with us. We came up with some provisional plans, but we needed to once again identify a site. This past week, I met with the deputy commissioner of parks and did a site visit over at Eisenhower Park to identify an area in the vicinity of some of the other memorials and stuff that are currently there. We settle on the site, and once again, I have sent an email back to my contact through the legislature to reconfirm the availability of the site and stuff for that. At the same time, I've also reached out to H2M to reschedule a committee meeting and stuff with them, with the approximate area and the size of the memorial to do with that. So there is progress on that. I will get to the committee members. Everything was sent to the executive board as well as to the committee. And hopefully by January and stuff, we will have a design or once again, at least some plans. And then be able to look at the possibility of getting funding to establish an EMS memorial over at Eisenhower Park. So that's currently where it is. As I said, it's just been slow go through negotiations, but we are still on top of it, and hopefully it will come to fruition in the near future. That's it.
Any questions from Memorial? Good. Done, you need more time? Should I go to new business? Yeah. Okay, all right, so new business, let's do the easy one first. Chris, you need a second motion?
You have second motion on the two matters.
Okay, all in favor of, inwards changes and matrix changes and minimum cost metric changes?
You want to do them individually?
We can do it, okay. All right, inwards changes from going 2 to 3, 3 to 2,
They're going from 2 to 1.
2 to 1, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So carried. Amendment Parks matrix change from leaving the 911 system. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so carried. Next, is election. So can I get a motion to open the ballots? Open the ballot. Second, okay. We need to, so the three, positions, chairman, vice chairman, and secretary treasurer. Any motions?
Do we currently have nominations for the last?
No. We didn't have nominations. from the last-
Okay, so, you would make a nomination or otherwise?
I'll make none. I nominate Tom Devaney for, chairman of REMSCO.
Second.
Accept. Accept. Anybody else?
The other fine?
Anybody else? Any other nominations?
For all the positions?
No, we're starting at the top and.
All right, yeah, that wasn't.
The three, yeah.
Get you set up.
I nominate Frank DeBovis for vice chairman.
Second.
Accept.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to nominate Mike Schwartz for secretary treasurer.
Second.
Second.
I'd like to nominate Dave Gather for secretary treasurer.
Accept. Oh, I need a second.
Second.
Yeah, I accept. Anybody else? We get a motion to close nomination.
Make a motion, close nominations.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, handing out the ballots. While we're handing out the ballots, we can go back to, if I can throw you under a bus, Karen Brown, you have a report?
I don't,
Okay.
because Chris is here and he could do his own report.
Dave. We can get to the question.
Oh.
We just do like a first name on it, what do we need to actually fill in?
The person's name.
Can we just write like a first name, spelling, and we go in? And that's,
DEVANY,
what is it?
ANEY, DEBOBIS,
Yes.
ES, KALDOR. There's too many Davids to not put a last name.
Your nomination for the 12 right in, that's it. Should be a time for voting. No one touches you. That you don't need to pretty much straight to voting. Such things. Absolutely. And around.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about it. We'll,
If you want to leave on the part.
Meeting, no.
Christine, you know. I got it.
Since I'm close to careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's also a lot of arguments, huh? Yes. We have this.
It hasn't changed since 2025, the same regulations. Yes.
Because of whole cost of the agency. Since so. I think it's functioning in the street. I guess it does. I don't see the answer. No, changes. I don't get it. Like, the research says that because of our ability, why would you?
Sorry. Okay, we're gonna continue the meeting while they're tallying the votes. We're gonna go back to, EMS coordinator for part 800 questions.
So the part 800, again, there's a differentiation between the equipment, which is, nuts and bolts on the apparatus versus the construction of itself. So 800.26 is the equipment requirements for emergency ambulance service vehicles other than an ambulance, the ASV is commonly known as fly cars or the like. That's where you'll see mention of backup alarms and cameras, driver's perspective cameras activated by G-force, recording of both sound and video to be kept for a prescribed period of time, commercial securing devices for equipment mounting that will not interfere with airbags or other design features of the vehicle, and an anti-theft device. Those are for, again, only the ASVs. And those vehicle construction standards will go into effect 12 months after the regulations are adopted and will apply to new and used emergency ambulance service vehicles acquired after such date. Any service vehicle.
Sorry, video. I don't care. I don't care about that. I know you don't. I don't care about it. Oh, well, I was saying.
It's not about function. Scott K's iPhone 15 Max Pro is on YouTube for some reason. So thank you. I hope no one heard anything they weren't supposed to. But this is how democracy is.
That wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. Aside from the splinter conversation on Max's iPhone, does anyone want me to repeat that? They don't take effect for 12 months and it's only for newly acquired vehicles. Not ambulances, right? The ambulances are still open for discussion and on the table. That will be the next set of regulations that you'll hear about. That's what I mentioned. But this is specifically the ASVs on that.
So that would be every certified fly car, fire department and back.
Any New York State emergency ambulance service.
Got it. And that would include the BLS first responders, the,
So, no, the LSFRs don't fall under Part 800 Article 30 unless they're in the voluntary CME program.
If they're in EA.
So yes, but no. As long as, again, they're in a BLSFR agency only. Once you have an ambulance operating certificate, that changes everything. So. No. Think so. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so going back to the survey with the times, the REMSCO meetings. So to answer your question, the public doesn't dictate what time the meetings are. The REMSCO council does.
Right, that's why there was a survey to try and, get broader
Right,
engagement.
but-
Ours is nearly 50-50, so.
Right.
We do dictate, and there was a motion on the floor to break the meetings half and half from 2 o'clock and an evening
And
session.
then we took a survey.
Right, well, we had a survey, and then we
But
resurveyed,
then
because we don't like those
that
answers.
that first survey had.
And now we're not sharing the public survey, so, the whole idea is that, this is really, it's not just about REMSCO, it's about the whole EMS community and, the hospitals, and there's people who are shift workers. So the middle of the afternoon doesn't really work for just everybody. So having variation in it was the idea behind the motion and the survey upon surveys. So we get the answer that somebody wants, and I think that if we have the data, right, like what's the data? We had it once in June that favored splitting the meetings. Now we have missing or data we can't find from the
Well,
broader.
so the problem is the computer, the new computer, we don't have the passwords yet, so that's why we're unable to. If we can table it to the next meeting if you want, and when we can have access to the data. Yes, sir.
make a motion to remove the previous motion from the table and vote on it?
Second that.
Okay, what's the previous motion?
I have a question on the tape.
We have a question?
There's a question. These meetings are all live streamed, correct?
Yeah,
So therefore, the only people that can vote or the membership that, once again, are on the council currently, or their alternates.
that's correct.
So it is accessible and stuff to, the public, the EMS community, anybody that wants to.
Right.
Unless they want to comment or be heard.
They're more than welcome to come. I'm just saying that it is available.
But the
Via
live
live stream.
but live stream, they don't
All
take
of our meetings have been, and the question is, Chairman Caldo has said is, are we gonna have a quorum and stuff at night? In order to be able to even conduct the meeting and stuff, if people do show up.
Right, but they can't
That's my
comment,
question.
they can't comment or be engaged. It's not just about voting, right? You know, it's about,
Well, they can't send an account, they can send an email to the REMSCO and.
right, so being engaged, they can't be engaged in the meeting. They can send an email that will eventually maybe get filtered through to the communications. But
Well, if
any
it's-
comments on their live chat or whatever it is are not entertained, correct?
That's correct.
Right, so
If it-
it's not just about who can come and vote, it's about engagement.
And if it's that important, then maybe they need to, you know.
Take off work.
Well, they can they,
I
can they
mean,
email?
can the REMSCO, can the council take off and work? That's why we asked the
And
council.
nearly 50% of the council, you said was 16, 18, right? Nearly
Correct.
50%. That was,
Okay,
so
but it's usually a majority though. So the majority said that.
so there's
I think we're missing
dictatorship.
the point
Okay.
that.
It's not a
if I
dictatorship,
can-
that's not what I said.
I think we're
That's what I
missing the
said.
point that without the council being here or quorum of the council, we can't vote or do any business. So if the council is saying that they need the meetings or would prefer the meetings to be at 2:00, while I don't disagree with you, the engagement and allowing people to be present and whatever, if the majority of the council is asking for the meetings to stay at the same time because some of them can't be here or have shift work or other jobs in the evening, then I feel like it's unfortunate for that reason, and I fully understand it, but we need the council to be able to vote and do business.
Right, and it is 16 to 18, which is nearly half of it. It wasn't changing every meeting. It was 3, you know.
I'm not disagreeing, I'm
just
just
saying-
making a point on.
No, I know. I'm just saying it was 3 and 3. This way, you know, it could really accommodate everybody. I work nights too, you know, like we all, you know, some people need babysitters in the middle of the day. Not everybody's on the council working, you know, can come here at work, or, you know, it's the middle of the day for sleep at 2:00 when I work 7P to 7A. And I'm sure there's other people in that position as well. So,
Just two things. I believe my understanding of Robert's rules is the meeting is called at the discretion of the chairman. Whether the chairman calls the meeting at 3 PM or 3 PM or, whatever time, the chairman of the committee controls the tempo, the agenda, and the time of the meeting. The fact that the chairman has solicited guidance from a survey, that's just guidance. The fact that you made a motion that says we'll adhere to the survey, based on Robert's rules again, the simple majority dictates that the meeting is as it is. So that's two things. The third thing is, please remember that you have to be acknowledged to speak at a public meeting that follows Robert's rules, so all your comments have to be addressed to the chairman, not to the public. And then the chairman has to acknowledge you, and then when you finish with your comments, if you have another comment, you have to ask again for permission to speak. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah,
yeah, well, on that note, the motion was not to abide by the survey. It was, and he acknowledged me, he did. I don't know why I giving him that look, but it wasn't to change it based on the survey. It was to survey the general, you know, public to see if that was a plausible option to have. It wasn't that we were gonna automatically see what the survey said and go with that. So the motion was made to adjust the meetings. So, and that wasn't voted on, it was tabled.
okay.
Thank you,
So
Chairman.
I'm sorry.
I said, thank you, Chairman.
Okay, so based on the survey, more than 50% wanted to leave it the way it is. And I think that's what we should do, because we have business that we have to do, and if the council's not gonna be here, we're not gonna have a quorum, we're not gonna have any business done. Yes, sir.
I believe I made a motion to take something off the table.
Refresh my memory.
So referring back to the printed minutes from the June 11th meeting, motion was made to have meetings, 2 meetings at 8 AM, 2 meetings at 2 PM, and 2 meetings at 7 PM. And another motion was made to table that motion. So I'm making a motion to take it off the table and vote on it.
Okay,
Instead, it fell off the table
The
at
motion
last
was
meeting.
made.
it fell off the table.
Where was, these are the printed ones, where are the,
So if after one meeting, if it doesn't come off the table, it falls to the floor. And it wasn't taken off the table, so therefore it fell to the floor at the last meeting, therefore it's no longer on the table.
We were waiting, last meeting, oh, well, next speak at the time. At the last meeting, it was brought up and we were pending the survey results, and that's what happened with the motion. That motion had to change, so 2 p.m.
Maybe fall to the floor. Okay.
We have a roll call vote for meeting times.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to leave it as is.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
You need the roll call.
You know what? People that make 2 you have to.
Dave?
Leave it as it is.
are we, is that on the question?
Yeah.
You made a motion, then there should be questions about his motion, correct?
No, it's a discussion. We can discuss it if you like. Yes, sir.
I'd like to just voice my position as having a seat on this council. That 2 o'clock isn't exactly the easiest time for someone. I'm not saying they all have to be at night. I'm not saying they have to be at 7 in the morning, but 2 o'clock for a night worker who has kids who are in school, who get out of school at 2:45. Every meeting that I attend, I'm hiring a babysitter to be here because so I don't think asking for an earlier start in the morning or an evening once in a while is asking so much. I understand that a lot of people sitting around the room at the table, whether you're next to me or across from me, aren't maybe working on the street, you're an administrator, or you're being paid to be here, which I'm not.
Well, neither
just,
am I.
that's fine. Sometimes maybe you are, maybe not, I don't know. But that's my opinion. That's where this is coming from my position as a seat, is that 2 o'clock isn't exactly the easiest time for everybody. So that's just where I am, but we can continue.
Okay.
Tom?
I will leave it as is.
Mackey? Chuck?
2 p.m.
What's that?
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yes.
Chris Harry?
Leave the time as is, and I think that there's room for further discussions in the future on this.
Jimmy Jamian?
Leave that as is.
Barry Rigney?
As is.
Robin Trott?
As is.
Tom Durfee?
As is.
Don Hudson?
That's it.
Ed Waldron?
As is.
Neil Velasco?
Leave it as is.
Karen Brom?
As is.
Neil Williams? What? As is? Bob Pinion?
Change it.
Dr. Barrios? Mike Schwartz?
Changes.
Bob McAvoy?
Change it.
Danny Cortazzo?
What pass? Not here.
Not. Good. Kevin O'Hara? As is.
So
14-4.
Motion carries to leave it the way it is. Okay. I have to go back to, communications, incoming communications, so we just handled this. This is from the Nassau County Fire Commission dated November 4th, 2025. This is Nassau County Regional EMS Council. It's addressed to Dr. David Kugler. I am writing this letter on behalf of the Nassau County Fire Commission. The subject of the EMTCC sunset has not been taken lightly by this commission. EMS has been discussed at length at several of our meetings after receiving input from each battalion district, several firematic organizations, and the commission EMS committee. This letter is memorialized at the October 28, 2025 meeting. I'm sorry, at the October 28, 2025 meeting of the Nassau County Fire Commission. The vote of the commission was conducted and passed to recommend that the sunset of the MTCC program within New York State be extended. Require any further information or documentation, please feel free to contact me at the email address below. Thank you for your time. Thomas P. McDonough, Secretary, Nassau County Fire Commission. Okay, results of the election, sir.
Okay. Tom Delaney, 19. Myself, 19. David Caldor, 13. Mike Schwartz, 6.
Can I get a motion to accept the election?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, so moved.
You want to archive those ballots or just?
Well, let's archive them. Yep. There, business, any public comments? Yeah, if you're gonna comment, please, or that you're not public.
No, we're still in the new business?
Yes. if you have new business.
Two questions. Okay. Do we need to act on the letter from the fire service?
It was just a letter. It was just a letter notifying that they had that they had sent a letter with, I'm sorry.
Right.
There's a letter to.
That's their position. It's a position letter.
So are we gonna take a position?
At this time, are we gonna take a position? Not at this time. We can talk about it. But I'd rather table it until the next meeting because nothing's been done. Right? There's no discussion. The discussion's gonna take place at the December REMSCO meeting. So we can sit here and talk about something that we don't know anything about. We have to see what I mean, at least in my mind, we have to wait and see what the state of New York Bureau of EMS is gonna do. Yes, sir.
Shouldn't this body have a position on, so when our representatives go up there, they're representing us?
I would like to table any discussion about the MTCC sunsetting until we see what happens with what goes on in Albany in December. At the REMSCO meeting, excuse me, at the CMAC meeting, both meetings actually. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. Yes, sir.
The second part of.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
So I have a question specifically regarding the policy manual that we put out. A number of people in my constituency have reached out to me, given the manual that's posted on the NassauEMS.org website. Specifically with some things that are printed in it, however, they're crossed out, not reflected in the change log. So I don't know if we ever voted as a body to remove those things. Are those things removed?
So this came up at executive. What you're seeing there is what's known in Microsoft Word as track changes. I know those documents, that's what I mean, if you didn't see me on break. When it converted to PDF. it went over with track changes rather than the actual document itself, so we'll correct that.
So it's on the website is not correct. When we went to move it over, it didn't move properly, for lack of a better way of putting it.
No, you can see everything's color coded and that's within track changes, what was omitted, what was added, what was underlined, what was crossed out. Track changes, literally every key type, every keystroke since the beginning of the document, has been turned on. That document precedes
Us.
current program agency, us or anyone else, so.
Yes, sir.
So then to be specific, why was what I'm discussing removed? I could read it to you if you'd like.
I don't
If
know.
it was brought up in executive, then maybe you guys already know. I don't see.
I would read it.
Yeah, read it.
Okay, yeah, I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
So the way it reads currently. The way it reads currently, when there's nothing crossed out, is Nassau County Medical Control provides advice and direction under a physician to EMS providers for providing pre-hospital care. What's showing is crossed out, which I don't remember and couldn't find us voting on, was Nassau County Medical Control is staffed and operated by members of the Nassau County Police Department, Emergency Ambulance Bureau. It provides advice and direction under a physician to EMS providers who are providing pre-hospital care. So it seems, which was brought to me and I agree with, that there was a rather large change as to who operates our medical control.
And do you know what that color code, you said that's crossed out? Well,
I believe it was blue, and going back in the change log, all I can see is that it looks like it was in September when we voted to add some Ebridge stuff about strokes.
that was the last substantive. change.
Right, but there's nothing about removing that language at the top
And
there.
that's what I'm saying, without having the document, that when you can't tell when those changes were made, so. That's when it.
Yeah, I
saves-
didn't print it in color, I printed it in black.
Right. So we'll correct it, put the current version up.
Go back to the way that it was.
Well, the current September version that was voted on will be back up without the track changes. All it does is it hides everything that was changed, so that you have a clean copy of the current one. All that background is still there, who changed it, when it was changed, why it was changed, all of that's there. Posterity sake in digital document. And again,
Right, so,
that's when it's in Word, not it's in PDF.
so then it'll say why that department that runs medical control or that staff's medical control was removed, because I don't remember that becoming big.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get you that answer when it was changed.
Just the chairman.
Yes.
So, New York State has specifically stipulated that medical control is the purview of the REMAC, not the REMSCO. So I would bring your concern up to the REMAC meeting. But hopefully by that time we can have an answer and the minutes or the policy manual will be corrected. Properly directed, because discussion about it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's what, yeah, it's overseen by the REMAC. Yes, sir.
So there's also redirection that was completely removed from there too in that change log, which again, I know it's. Maybe it's a draft or whatever it is, but when we investigated, I don't think getting rid of redirection for the hospital was ever. On there as well.
My
You know, with
recommendation,
extended triages
we
and
need to
stuff like that.
get a clean copy. And
Right.
then we can, because right now we're speculating on everything.
No, well, we're not speculating, it's on,
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
saying when
not-
they look at it,
Not the
you know,
right
that's
one.
another one of those big changes that was on there that never came up at a REMAC or REMSCO meeting.
So I will send out to everybody the clean copy of the current before it's posted. And I assure you, once again, there is no conspiracy, there's no backdoor deals, there was nothing you were excluded from or anyone else. I know that sounds unbelievable, but it's never been true. So I think you can probably trust the people that are here, since no one has truthfully and in reality given you any, or anyone, any reason to distrust them. What's that? I mean, does anyone see it differently?
No. Yes, sir.
So I think one of the problems is that, you know, we rely and we're allowed to rely on the unabridged, you know, audio video recording of meeting minutes, right? So when you want to reference something, when something was brought up, not brought up, you have to go back and watch hours and hours of REMSCO or REMAC meetings. And this has been brought up time and time again, that if we had written meeting minutes, we could visually look back and see what meeting, where these things came up, where these votes were, but instead you have to watch hours of video. So I think it's still a central problem that we're relying on this recording. You know, which are great, it's great for the public, you know, we get even the, you know, off-camera comments sometimes, which, you know, could be entertaining, but I think we need written where things are changing. We don't have a real good way to keep track of that unless we do. And nobody, you know, I don't think it's a conspiracy and whatnot, it's organization, you know, and I think that would really help the business of the council, and it's been brought up multiple times before with other things.
So, no. Mr. Canary, you had a,
Yes.
just step up to the microphone, please, and identify yourself.
Tom Canary, Assistant Chief for Glen Cove EMS. I have a few points, if you allow them. Just as a member of the public at this time, the meeting times, I think you guys talk about engagement and, you know, more collaboration from the public. I do think as a shift worker, working days, nights, evenings, mornings, it would be beneficial and you would possibly get more people to participate in this committee if you change the times. What they may be, I don't know. The next point is a question on the election. The election that just took place, is that the standard practice of the election of the board?
Yes.
Because it's not exactly clear in the bylaws.
Yes.
And without having Robert's rules in front of me, it seems like it might be contradictory with Robert's rules.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the standard practice to have
Yeah.
nominations and elections? Okay.
Yes.
The next thing was maybe through the chair to membership in regards to the vacancy of the back seat. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the communication to the back? So we're, at Glen Cove EMS is only in receipt of one communication informing that they haven't met the threshold. So their seat may be deemed vacant, and there's been some communications with the VACs as to who we want to put there. So I'd like to know who that communication was to, that you said there wouldn't be a problem filling.
Of their seat spot
Correct.
went through REMSCO.
Right, you mentioned a name before that's no longer affiliated with our organization, so
Oh, was it Andrew?
yes. And the primary seat is D Metropolis, and he's no longer affiliated either.
Can't answer that, I do not know.
How do we make that determination?
Can. Let me get back to you on that, give you, so I can give you the correct answer.
Because I mean, I'm not sure if there's any members of any other VACs here, but there is an ongoing conversation between all the VACs as to who we'd like to put up to the seat.
Okay, let me research and get you the correct answer, and I will contact you.
Okay, and then my last point, I'm not sure if it's for REMAC or REMSCO, but it was just some question as to the PSAPs 911 and EMD.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, say it again.
My last point was regarding PSAPs and EMD. I don't know if that's a question to REMAC, or I know there's been rumor of some conversation about that, so.
Mr. Chairman. So we, there's an open tag on the REMAC looking at making all dispatch centers that dispatch ambulances in the county require them to use EMD. That's being looked at. The tag is being run by Dr. Matthew Harris on the REMAC, so you're more than welcome to reach out to him, see
Okay,
where he's at.
so
with
that's basically through REMAC. Right.
that. REMAC's looking into it.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's just being looked into at this point.
Right, we need to get information first before.
Yeah, right, well, okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hi, I assure you I have no thought about a conspiracy theory or anything like that, but I do have some questions regarding the policy manual. How, who updates that? How is the procedure for voting on it? Because there seem to be very substantial changes that were made to that manual. And me as a provider for both a volunteer agency and for a professional paid EMS system in the county, that document is posted as a valid, as the document we're supposed to be following. And the only reason I know about this is because it came to light on a call the other night where we were looking for guidance, so we went to our policy and procedure manual, which is what we're supposed to use, and it was vastly different than the last one we had seen, and there were a lot of changes. I mean, just one simple guidance that affects both volunteers and paid. The way redirection and diversion is handled in the county. Okay, currently, redirection is based upon a certain number of ambulances waiting a certain period of time. And an EAB supervisor, in conjunction with the hospital, would place that hospital on diversion. And a lot of times, a hospital facility doesn't like being placed on diversion because financially they lose money. Now, let's say last week, okay, last week we had an incident where ambulance were waiting at a specific hospital for an hour and a half. Providers paid by Nassau County, paid by Northwell, volunteer ambulances waiting, and the hospital was refusing to go on diversion because they're not allowed to go on diversion, because their facilities, their management says they're not allowed. But when you have people waiting an hour and a half, paid or professional, I'm sorry, paid or volunteer, it impacts the whole system and it ruins the whole experience. So we place that facility on redirection. But if you read the new policy, and I understand you're saying that.
We need to get the cleaned up.
I understand, but what Ron is saying, unless I'm misunderstanding what he's saying is, the active document, like the lines through, that means that's removed. Am I wrong, Don?
Depends the color code, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
we need to, so in all fairness, we need to see the clean version in front
well,
of us.
I think that needs to be, and I'm not a voting member and I'm not anybody, but I think that needs to be.
You are
addressed
somebody.
Today.
Or
at this
somebody, but
meeting.
the point
Because
is,
currently our policy and procedure manual that we're governed by is not accurate. So how do I, as an EAP soup coordinator, or a volunteer firefighter, or a Northwell person who wants to do the right thing and follow the policies and procedures for this county, how do we do that if our policy manual is incorrect?
the goal is for it not to be incorrect. The goal is for us to have the correct version of the policy on the website. Right, and as you well know, technology, things happen.
I'm not blaming
And
anybody.
the goal is for us to have the correct policy and procedure
I would think.
on the website.
So can I ask
So
a
we
question?
brought to our attention, by Director Airy at the executive meeting. And we can't fix it from here. And so,
What are we guided by now? I apologize, I didn't mean you.
I have a question, Mr. Chair. If you knew about this nights ago, why is this the first time we're hearing of it?
I brought it to my bosses.
And why is this the first time that the council is hearing of it? Why weren't we notified immediately that there was a problem with a document that's been up for 2 months that no one else has noticed?
I didn't notice it till 3 nights.
Okay, so why weren't we notified 3 nights ago?
I notified my.
Okay, but my point
Right,
is,
but
we don't
yours-
know there's a problem with the
Sorry, you're
document.
having-
There's no communication back to the REMSCO saying there's a problem with the document. You understand track changes when, and I don't know, I'm just.
I don't, I apologize.
I'm gonna explain something. Some of those things may never have been in the document that was actually approved.
Right.
So while they were working on that document, before it was approved, there are changes to that document. That's why Don needs to see the original, to see the color coding that is in it.
Okay.
So please understand that. Some of those things may not have been there. Okay? And once again, we need communication from the public, so we make sure that the appropriate policy manual is out there. If this was noticed 3 nights ago, nobody reached out and said, hey, there's a problem. And everybody that knows, that is involved in this, knows where they need to reach out to contact us. People have gotten personal emails, work emails, text messages, phone calls, but every single thing else. This, as you were describing, in your words, was a major issue, providing misinformation to our providers out there, and no one took the time to notify us.
You know what, you're making this like, I don't know.
I'm making it about the problem.
I
We've
don't
already
know.
said, the chair has already said, we are looking into it, trying to find the track changes and the dates that go along with it.
Right.
Okay, the bigger issue is, people are standing up here, you included, never took the time to notify us that there was a problem. It's a two-way street.
I'll take my blame for that.
Okay.
I apologize.
So just so everybody knows, and we need to all work together, okay? I said, one of the first things I said at the beginning of the meeting was, if you're gonna contact the REMSCO, please use the nassau.org. No, let me just finish.
Let me
Okay.
finish what I'm saying, because he made a very valid point,
Okay.
okay? But what he left out was, I assumed that what's posted, because it says it's the right date and it's approved. It doesn't say anything about pending. It doesn't say track changes. I don't know anything about track changes. I'm not a document editor, okay? So when a document is posted to something, I follow that document because that's my job. And that's where I'm supposed to go. Just like if REMAC posted protocol changes, I post them. I don't question them. I don't say, hey, this is posted wrong. I don't know what track changes are. That's somebody else's job.
Have you ever
Okay.
seen a document that's ever had crossouts on it?
I thought it was odd.
Chair.
So, let me just say, so, just so everybody knows, if it's something like that, and you need to get a hold of the REMSCO in a more timely fashion than an email, 516-572-0190, option 1, I'll say it slower, 516-572-0190, option 1 is the REMSCO. And if somebody doesn't pick up the phone, you can leave a message, and it's checked every single day. And if it's, if something that's that important, you call, we're gonna get it faster, or obviously respond quicker, or somebody might pick up the phone right away and take care of whatever the situation is. You had something else, I'm sorry,
No, I
somebody else,
appreciate your time. Thank you.
I thought somebody else did. I'm losing my,
Don has something.
oh, Don, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, although this is great theater and I'd like to stay here forever so that we can't fix this. The New York State Protocol app, Muru, has the clean version up there. Ambulance redirection is exactly as you stated, and so is hospital diversion. What was the other topic of concern?
I apologize. I can't hear what you said. What did you say?
What page is that on? You have whether you read that from what page that's on?
Which one?
Which one? That version might have been wrong.
Medical control.
Yeah,
Instead of using
Bobby,
It's a-
what page, medical control, yeah. What page is the medical control, Bob?
7.
No,
Can I speak to you through him?
yeah, tell them.
It was on page. Hold on, I gotta flip it.
8.
Page 8.
That's it. Right at the top. First line.
8 in purple has medical control.
Yeah, that's I know to throw over the staff.
Yeah.
Maybe at the bottom 7, it's the way check trains.
Nassau County Medical Control provides advice and direction. That section.
That section, yeah.
Under a physician, the EMS providers who are providing pre-hospital care, medical control may be contacted anytime as a resource. Nassau County Medical Control must be notified via email for all patients. Notification of medical control must be made. Stop them burn up.
That's, yeah, that covered it.
Yeah, I think this.
Crossed out.
Yes, sir.
Through the chair to Don, and the question was is when it was removed, because I don't remember us voting on it being removed from the proposal, from the policy manual.
Chairman.
We're just being rewritten.
According to the change log, that was at least in 5 of 24.
Before me then.
Yeah. I don't recall that at all.
Chair. I know 524, there's certainly no changes. I remember reading that meeting with short one. It was about a language change. That was brought up by the meeting now, I find it's not great, so. Still the best I can find.
I checked the meeting minutes in the last three Remax and it was not from the Remax.
It's not new.
Yeah, no, I mean, our recent meetings, so it wasn't this year. Yeah, I just checked all this, it wasn't this year. I've been doing that while you've been talking. You're welcome. No problem, I've been looking back to make sure I missed something.
Just procedurally to be clear, so we'll correct the website, I'll send the clean copy out to all members, and then we need to know when competitive control. Got it.
So,
Tom McDonough, Secretary of the Nassau County Fire Commission. Dr. Caldor, I apologize.
no, not doctor.
Dave,
We're the doctors.
Only paramedic.
Yeah, two Dave, sorry.
inadvertently put Dr. Kluger's name on that letter, but it should have been addressed to you as the chairman.
Okay.
I apologize for that. 2 months ago, at the last meeting, I asked a question through the vice chair. Because I was live streaming, I sent the text. And I guess this goes back to Dr. Kluger because it has to do with REMAC. It has to be doing with those 1,000 calls that are still out there that aren't being tracked through eBridge. And why they are not, or if they are, but I believe they're supposed to be tracked by MedCom of who is not utilizing eBridge for those 1,000 calls. Do we have an answer for
So.
what agencies are not
That gets
utilizing?
reported out every other month at the REMAC meeting. We report out and Don puts in his EMS coordinators weekly report about the phone calls and radio usage into medical control. And medical control does give us that data. So it's not something that's kept secret, and that's how we know the number. So I don't understand maybe I'm not.
I don't
The question is, I know the numbers are 1,000. The number of 1,000 keeps coming up.
Right.
What agencies are those 1,000 calls attributed to?
I don't have that information to share with you right now. I haven't parsed it down to that level. But that's something we could look at.
Yeah, please so, because I'd like to know that, from the fire commission standpoint, to see if there are any fire department agencies that are not abiding by. Sure. And if it's any other agencies, we should know that as well.
Right, and remember, that's only 1/3 to 40% of all the calls in the county is still 66 to about 66 to 70% that are not being notified, because there's about 150,000 calls a year. And there's about 50,000 notifications. So it's about a third. So there's 100,000 calls that we're not getting notified on. And the hospital, just to reiterate, forgive me, Mr. Chair.
No,
The regional policy is with eBridge, all transports have to be, you have to make a notification, and but not all notifications have to be acknowledged if the EMS crew uses the low priority notification tool on eBridge. I do understand that of the 150,000 EMS runs in the county, some of them are non-transports and they may not get a notification, but some of those non-transports require RMA, AMA, and they may get another eBridge notification just as a phone call. So if we assume that we have a 10% RMA, AMA, it's only 15,000 calls that aren't run, so we should still be getting about 135,000 calls on eBridge, and we're not there yet. So but usage is growing, people are learning and becoming more accustomed to it. But to answer your question, we can see if we can get that information for you at the next meeting.
Thank you, appreciate it.
yes,
Just one more thing, within those numbers too, there's probably some of those instances where you're gonna use the radio because it's time sensitive, there's a cardiac arrest, you're a couple minutes from the hospital and you can't type on the computer, so, I'm sure that I would say every agency is gonna be on there at some point, right? Like, because they need to, you know, do something quickly or don't have enough hands or have something time sensitive. So I think everybody will probably be on there at some point where you can't type.
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But if it's a case like that, then I think QHUI would end up saying, yeah, well, these were taken and separated because they were.
Yeah.
Close
I'm gonna say hard
proximity,
coded that way.
So to that point, there's a push, a button on the e-bridge where you can do it verbally.
Yeah, I understand, but if, you know, that requires the internet connection. I'm not gonna get into the whole e-bridge thing. I was just saying, within those numbers, there are instances where
Yeah.
people would probably have critical, you know, time sensitive walk on
Yes.
the radio.
Verbally to the hospital?
Yes,
You could make a video call or audio.
Yeah.
Last time I did that, they couldn't hear me. And I couldn't hear them.
this week, okay.
Yeah, you let us know.
Yeah, if that happens,
See if it comes hospital end or so,
They seemed to think it was on their end. And they couldn't correct it.
but you gotta let us know.
I let them know.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.